We're ready when you are.
Okay. We're here at Jazz Live with David Fathead Newman. David, thank you for a return engagement here to Jazz Live.
Well, thank you very much. It's my pleasure, and it's a pleasure being here. Again, a pleasure and honor.
It's fantastic to not only have you back, but this time you're playing with the Point Loma Nazarene University Jazz Ensemble. Can you tell us a little bit about work that you do with ensembles like this, coming from universities or music schools?
Well, yeah, this for the past 4 or 5 years, I've been doing quite a few universities and colleges, and I have big band arrangements of most of my recent material, and I usually send this material, these arrangements, in weeks before I'm due for an appearance, and the students usually they rehearse this music and go over this music, and by the time that I arrive, we pretty much have it pretty well have it under control, and we proceed with it, and it works out very well. Have some very nice big band arrangements.
So do you do other work with the band, while you're here? Are you doing any classes, in particular with Point Loma? Any kind of sessions like that?
Only thing we did with Point Loma, we also had a clinic and a Q&A session, and that was about the extent.
Excellent. And what do you hope that a band like this band gets out of the work that they do with you?
Well, first of all, I love interacting with the students, and it gives the students a chance to work with some professional artists and to get the feel of what it's all about, like playing professionally, if they care to do so, if they care to get degrees playing, and it's the interaction with the students. It's a great experience, and it's also an opportunity to let them know that this music that we call jazz, this is America's music, and it's America's contribution to the arts, and it's very good to get this music over to the students and to let them know the importance of this music, and it's their music, and it's important music, and it's America's contribution to the arts.
So at music education, and especially in jazz, it seems to just keep growing exponentially. There seems to be lots of programs coming up. And was there those kind of opportunities for music education for you when you were coming up?
No, not exactly, because the jazz has always played a back seat, like to classical music, of course. It's always played a back seat. But as what we're seeing is a resurgence, because people are becoming more aware that the music is important, and this is America's contribution to the arts, and it comes from America. So it's very important to know that this is originally something that comes from this continent, and it's our music, and it's important music.
Do you think that that students of music today, of jazz, may be concentrating too much on the book learning part of jazz, or the structured education, or do you think it's a good thing for the music and for students of the music?
Well, I think it's a good thing for students of the music, and it's a good thing to focus on. It all works hand in hand. It all works together. Like there's nothing wrong with good formal training. That makes for the better musician.
Right. Right, right. Well, I also wanted to wish you a happy 75th birthday. I guess it just occurred a couple weeks ago on the 24th of February, correct?
24th, exactly.
Well, happy belated birthday.
Oh, well, thank you so much.
And I'm sure you're hearing that from lots of people because it seems to be a well-known thing in jazz that it's your 75th and it's your birthday year.
I tell you, it's a blessing. It's a wonderful thing, and it's a blessing.
I was just reading about a birthday party that was in your honor at Iridium in January.
Iridium. Oh, yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that and your thoughts about that show.
It was very good. It was just like who's who. Like, you know, I had so many artists came down to help me celebrate the 75th celebration. Had people like Phil Woods, Jimmy Heath, Steve Teray, Russell Malone, Jimmy Cobb, just so many wonderful musicians. Paul Schaefer from the Letterman Show. It was just a host of wonderful musicians that came by to help celebrate the birthday, and it was wonderful.
Were there any particular surprises that you hadn't planned for, or
Well, about the only surprise was the birthday cake. I wasn't aware that we were going to have a birthday cake, and that was a bit surprised. But I knew about all of the guest artists that were coming down, most of them, because some of them we had asked a lot of musicians to come and be guest artists, but then there were a few surprises also, musicians that we didn't contact and we weren't aware that they were coming. But the more the merrier, and it was very wonderful. It really I just couldn't believe so many people would come down to help me celebrate the celebration there. It was very good.
Well, it seems like you've kind of given everybody else a birthday present with your new release from this year, Diamond Head.
Oh, oh yeah, that's this was all working in because it was all tied in together because the Iridium it was a chance to play the music from the new release, the Diamond Head release, and I had just did the Letterman Show, the Tonight Show, and also I did interviews on WBGO and Newark, so it all tied in very good together.
So tell us a little bit about Diamond Head. You have some of the legends in jazz that are working today playing on it with Cedar Walton and Curtis Fuller.
I do.
Can you tell me how the band that you played with on Diamond Head came together?
Well, it came together because these were some of the musicians that I wanted to play, and I specifically chose these musicians. And of course, Cedar Walton is a recording artist on the High Note label, the label that I'm on. Curtis Fuller has recorded on the label also. And then, of course, we had Peter Washington on bass, and we had Uran Israel on drums. And it turned out to be a very good date, a very successful date. And we did some, we recorded, I had a few original compositions. We did one of Cedar Walton's composition, and then we threw in some very popular standards.
Yeah, I was very interested in your choice of, for instance, Billy Joel's New York State of Mind, as juxtaposed against some of the classics like Skylark and Star Eyes.
Oh yes.
How did you come up with picking out that kind of more recent pop tune to put on this one?
Well, what you mean, like Billy Joel's New York State of Mind?
Correct.
Well, because that's it happened to be one of my favorite tunes, and I felt a particular closeness with it that I could do on the flute, and it fit in very well for me as a flute tune. The other tunes, Skylark was a good tune that I've always admired playing with Ogie Carmichael tune on the tenor sax, and of course another standard, Can't We Be Friends? That's a standard that I had heard years ago, and I used to listen to Sonny Stitt play that, and that was also one of my favorite tunes, and I thought that I would maybe revive this tune because I hadn't heard it played in quite a while.
I was interesting to read in your in the liner notes that your approach to choosing compositions for your releases, and that it's really you're really looking outside of yourself to what you feel like your fans want to hear. Can you tell us a little bit about why you approach it that way?
Oh yes, well because like so many artists, they not putting the artist down, but so many artists think primarily of what sounds good to them and what they like playing, and they choose material to their own liking, more or less. I try to choose material that my listening audience, people that listen to my music, I try to choose music that they're familiar with and familiar with the sounds and some of the things that they like. And instead of choosing material for my own liking, I try to choose material that I think the listening audience would enjoy and that they would be familiar with.
Right. And how much does your work with Houston Person, who co-produced this disc and quite a few of your other ones on High Note, what role does he play in that selection process?
Well, it's always good to have another ear in the process of recording, and Houston and I have always worked together since my coming back to High Note Records. We've worked together and we've co-produced together, and we seem to make a good team, and we work very well together. I did my first recordings on the Muse label, and that was done, and I didn't. Houston Person wasn't with us on the Muse label, but then Muse became High Note, and since going back to the High Note label, we've been working together with Houston Person, and like I say, another ear is always a good thing to have, and we work very well together. We don't have any conflicts. We work very well together, and it's if you got a good thing working, we want to keep it going.
Well, it seems like you do have a good thing going, because if I'm correct, this is like your 7th disc in 7 years.
Indeed.
And
yes.
What do you feel like this is going to be a streak that you're going to kind of keep going with? It seems like you're continually creative on these and choosing different tunes. So
well, we're going to continue. I'm not saying it's nothing lasts forever, and I don't know if it'll, but so far so good. We continue to work well together. Of course, there will probably become times whereas we'll go our separate directions, separate paths, but as of now, as it is, we work very well together, and the people at the label, they seem to be very happy with it. So, and we're happy with it.
Yeah. So as we look now past this milestone of 75 years and looking forward, can you tell us a little bit about some projects that you're working on that we may get to hear and read about coming up in the future?
Well, I do have some things in mind that I want to do, but it all planning for recording. It all has to do with coming in within the budget. So that's something that's always to be considered. Is whether it's going to come in under the budget or not. But I do have several projects that I want to do. Namely, I would love to. I have in my mind about doing a project with strings. I want to do a string quartet, at least a string quartet recording, and doing standards and ballads. This is something that I wanted to do. And I think that's going to be our next project, and we're going to shoot for that. And if it's not workable, we'll perhaps maybe even go have another route to get this done. But it's one of the things that I want to do. And of course, I want to experiment with some multi-horn arrangements, doing some things because it's a different feel when you have a multi-instrumental instruments on a recording. So that's a different feel. So we have several ideas in mind and things that we want to do. Nothing's definite right now, but we do have a few irons in the fire there.
Excellent. Well, if people want to follow you and what you're doing, and as you move forward, is there a website or a place where you where that kind of information is available for folks?
There is a website. I have a website, and it's www.davidfatheadnewman.com. One word, davidfatheadnewman.com, and you can go directly to the site, and it's about a 5 or 6 page site. It has the schedule, the schedule and coming events and discography, and also it has a highlight page of the current events that are going on.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for being back here at Jazz Live and for your work with students like the ones at Point Loma Nazarene University, and the best in your 75th year and beyond.
Thank you so much, and it's been a pleasure. Thank you for having me.